Okay, in geopolitics, sometimes nations who are surrounded by hostile entities or hostile countries, they have to take certain measures that could be perceived or seen on the surface as immoral or not the right thing to do, right? But as someone who studied international relations and diplomacy, political science, and I focus on geopolitics, I'm sure that there are a few policies that every nation should take to protect its national security. One of these steps is deterrence. You have to deter your neighboring country or even a country that is far away that is threatening you from invading your country. So North Korea, for example, developed a nuclear weapons. Iran has resorted into nuclear programs. Syria developed chemical weapons, which has been destroyed later, in order to deter the Israelis, because the Israelis have also nuclear weapons, right? So deterrence is very important. You have to show your enemy that you can inflict damage, you can inflict pain, so that the other side doesn't attack you. The other measure that I think it's very important is to have a buffer zone a geographical buffer zone between yourself and your enemy. For example, Syria, after the civil war erupted in Lebanon and after the invasion of Lebanon in 1982 by the Israeli occupation forces, Syria intervened in Lebanon. On the surface, it was because we want to stop the civil war there, right? But the truth of the matter is, Syrians didn't want to leave the Lebanese scene to the Israelis because they can shape later the politics of Lebanon, right? And at the same time, they wanted to create a buffer zone between Syria and Israel so that the battlefield would be on a Lebanese soil and not on a Syrian soil. Now, I can say with great confidence that this could be applied also on Armenia and on Azerbaijan. So, as you may remember, there was a hot war, a brutal war by Azerbaijan on the Armenians of Nagorno Karabakh. Nagorno Karabakh is this, or was this blue area, right? Armenians call it Artsakh. In September 2020, the Azerbaijani forces attacked on these areas and they occupied all these blue areas, in exception for the red. Now, these were all occupied by Armenian forces, and there was a self-determination and a referendum that was held after the collapse of the Soviet Union, and the people of the area, who are vastly and majority are ethnic Armenians who were living under an Azerbaijani occupation, they decided to be independent. Anyways, in 2018, a new government came to Armenia. He's a guy of a color revolution, and he was anti-Russian, and he prioritized so many other things except for the national security of the country, right? He has no experience in geopolitics. He has no experience in military affairs. Anyways, he lost the war, and he signed on a capitulation treaty, which gave up all these blue areas and kept this red. And the deal was so that there would be a highway that could connect Armenia through this Lachin border crossing to the rest of the red part, which are lived by the Armenians and still in the hands of the Armenians. Now, I said this when the Second Artsakh War was over, that this is not going to be the end of this conflict. The so-called Armenian liberals were saying, no. Let's just give up this territory to Azerbaijan and let them be satisfied because they are more powerful than us. And by doing so, they're not going to attack us again. And I was like, this is very naive way of thinking. Because if I'm Azerbaijan and I'm Aliyev, and I would see my enemy, Armenia, is first of all sandwiched between Azerbaijan and Turkey, two hostile countries. And Georgia you have no good relations with. The only good relations you have is with Iran. And I was able in a few days to occupy, let's say a few weeks, occupy the vast majority of Nagorno Karabakh, which was a buffer zone between me and Armenia. And when I see a leader in Armenia is fighting against any sort of national identity, which nationalism in Armenia is a defensive mechanism to protect yourself and unify your country against a hostile neighborhood, and you're sandwiched between Turkey and Azerbaijan. And at the same time, you see that there is no interest in liberating the areas that you have lost. And now the national security of Armenia is exposed. We're not now talking about Nagorno Karabakh. Nagorno Karabakh was the buffer zone. When you lost the buffer zone, you expose your national security to the enemy. Now, Azerbaijan has no reason, from their point of view, to stop their aggression against Armenia, because one, you lost your geostrategic location that were the front line against the enemy. Two, you have a weak leadership who is ready to give up and sign on a capitulation treaties. And three, you're seeing that your people or your enemy's people are divided because also the leadership is fighting the, as I mentioned, national identity or nationalism, right? And you can see this growing number of Armenians who call themselves, as I mentioned, the liberals, who consider Armenian nationalism as fascism. It's very crazy the way they think. They're so brainwashed by the Western neoliberal ideology without taking into consideration the specifics of the Armenian internal domestic politics, Armenian history, the Armenian genocide, etc., etc. So now we have this situation again. Azerbaijan is attacking not Nagorno Karabakh, but Armenia. Armenia itself, something that I have predicted. And please go to the description below. I posted videos about Armenia after and during the Second Artsakh War. And I mentioned the miscalculations of the Armenian leadership, and I mentioned what could come next, okay? So, and I don't want to say I told you so, but it is very clear that the Armenians have shot themselves in the leg. And there is nothing that can stop the Azerbaijanis now. I have some solutions. I will mention it later. So this is the video of the attack I will show you now by the Azerbaijani forces. So the Armenian armed forces lost at least 49 Armenian soldiers, casualties, at least 49. It's a very big number. And I tweeted this, dear Ursula von der Leyen, she's the president of the EU Commission, right? And she calls Azerbaijani leader Aliyev a reliable partner because they're buying gas now from Azerbaijan, right? Your reliable partner in Azerbaijan has launched an unprovoked military offensive on Armenia. Your attitude indicates that buying gas from dictator Aliyev is more important than Armenian lives. You lost all credibility. Now, Lindsay Snell, who is an American journalist, and she focuses on Armenia, she says, the same day Azerbaijan launched a cross-border attack on Armenia, Azerbaijan's energy minister bragged that Azerbaijan gas exports to Europe will increase by 30% this year. And this is the article. Azerbaijan will increase natural gas exports to Europe this year by 30% as the EU seeks to lessen its dependence on Russian energy amid the Kremlin's invasion of Ukraine. Now, I will also show you, this is Toivo Klar. He says he is the EU's special representative for the South Caucasus and the crisis in Georgia. Look what he tweets. The fighting along the Armenian-Azerbaijan border and the reported intense shelling need to stop immediately. The EU is in close contact with the sides to contribute to de-escalation. Like, he doesn't even mention the aggressor. Like, why don't you mention the aggressor, sir? Because you hate Russia so much that you want to buy gas from Azerbaijan, well knowing that Azerbaijan is a dictatorship, well knowing that Azerbaijan is an aggressive country under Aliyev, well knowing that Azerbaijan is threatening an ethnic cleansing of the Armenians. But you don't care because gas is more important for you than the Armenians. And of course, this tweet is also hilarious. The Ukraine flag flyers yet again ignore Azerbaijan's genocide of Armenian Christians. How utterly predictable. And Hovig also says Europe boycotts Russian gas for attacking Ukraine. Now let's see if Europe will also boycott Azerbaijani gas for attacking Armenia. I don't think so, Hovig-chan. Now, lots of people say, okay, you're criticizing, what's your solution? Give us solutions. Okay. I would love to give solutions. And but just before that, I want to also show you the difference of the language, right? Between, let's see if this is the one. No, this is it. This is the Secretary of State, Antony Blinken. Okay. So, the United States stands with the people of Ukraine and will not hesitate to designate those who enable Russian aggression, including elements of the Iranian government involved in shipping drones to Russia. And now see the difference of the language when it comes to Azerbaijan. The United States is deeply concerned about reports of active hostilities between Armenia and Azerbaijan. We urge an end to military hostilities immediately. There is no military solution to the conflict. He doesn't even mention the aggressor. He doesn't even urge the Azerbaijani side to stop the shelling and the killing of the Armenians. He doesn't call for immediate end of this threatening of ethnic cleansing of the Armenians. Nothing of that, right? Now, just to show you also quick where the Azerbaijani forces are shelling. So, if this is Armenia, as you can see, we start from the south, Kapan, Ishkhanatsar, also Goris, Chemuk, Sotk, Vardenis, and Artanish. Artanish, I was there just like 2 weeks ago in this area. And I stayed there for 2 nights in this town. It's just on the border with Azerbaijan. And the people there are overwhelmingly against Pashinyan, and they really hate what the prime minister is doing. So, Kevork, what about the solutions? I am confident that this is not like a clear-cut solution, but we have to understand that we are in a situation where Armenia is in existential threat, right? And in order to revive at least hope among the Armenians, we have to have a charismatic leader. We have to have someone who knows geopolitics, he understands it, he knows how to protect the borders, and he knows how to take deterrence measures against Azerbaijan. So, I would say if Armenians want to look back 100 years from now and still see Armenia on the map, they must elect a military leader who can build deterrence measures with Azerbaijan. He should revive the national identity again instead of spreading the sub-identities in the country. Armenia should mine all the critical border crossings with Azerbaijan. Armenia should have armed drones, and we know that Armenia is very good in technology and they can build armed drones, very good ones, sophisticated ones, drones that can also be used as kamikaze drones. I'm sorry, but this is the truth. If your enemy is so hostile, you need to take such measures. You need to direct your long-range missiles against the Azerbaijani gas fields and threaten the gas fields of Azerbaijan from reaching into other regions. You need to have a very good partnership with Iran and very good partnership with Russia because you live in the Caucasus, not in Canada or in Mexico. And also, I would also say, tax the diaspora. I am ready to pay every year a small amount of money from my income to the Armenian armed forces. I don't even have an Armenian passport or Armenian ID, but I care about the future of Armenia and the Armenians. And there is no other way of protecting Armenia and the Armenian people and the future of our Armenian generations except by military force. You cannot protect Armenia by cooking dolma to your enemies. We cannot protect Armenia by spreading the anti-nationalist sentiments among the Armenian people. This is my opinion. You disagree with it? Let's discuss. I'm not insulting you. I don't know why Armenians, some of them are becoming so sensitive about this issue. And I will mention this without hesitation. Also, Armenians are to be blamed for first re-electing Nikol Pashinyan, and two, the diaspora, especially in Europe. Look, this is my subjective opinion. I don't have statistics in my hands, okay? But because I am surrounded also by Armenians, I talk to Armenians, I engage with them, I socialize with them. Lots of Armenians now in Germany, they are very keen to show to the Germans and to the Europeans that they are cool and Europeans, and there's oh, we're one of you. And therefore, they are very concerned of showing to the Europeans or to the Germans that they are politically incorrect. So no, we are politically correct. We are cool. We are like you. So when the elections come, they don't elect most of the Armenians, in my opinion, they don't elect politicians or members of parliaments who would serve also the interests of the Armenians. There are so many MPs who criticize Azerbaijan, Turkey, and they side with the Armenians. They even traveled to Nagorno Karabakh, Artsakh, during the second Artsakh war. But no. We cannot deal with them because the media calls them right-wingers. We cannot deal with them. Then what would the Germans speak about us? Let's be cool. Let's be in the center with the so-called left-wing parties, who are nothing but liberal warmonger parties. And the German media discovered that some of the MPs, they're paid by Aliyev. They're corrupted by Aliyev. But no, we cannot do that. There are Armenians in German political parties here, and these parties, they don't say a word about the Azerbaijani aggression on Armenia. They don't say a word. And they deal with Turkey on highest level, they deal with Azerbaijan on the highest level, and they just seal their mouths because they wanna. No, we have to be cool. We have to be like them. If our interests and their interests are not the same, then no, we cannot anger them, right? This is my opinion. If you wanna get mad at me, be mad at me. I don't care, because I know Armenians that I despise nowadays because of their blindness by political correctness, and they prefer to be seen as cool, but to serve the Armenian interests. So, guys, this was my reporting on the Azerbaijani renewed aggression on Armenia. I'm very mad. I'm very angry. And I think this is not going to end here. And it's not going to end well for the Armenians unless a miracle happens and a strong leader comes and revives hope among the Armenians. Because as far as I can see, the current prime minister is just making phone calls after every Azerbaijani aggression to Russia, to the United States, to France. He's just begging them to intervene and impose a truce or a ceasefire again. And I think the real truce happens when you have enough power to threaten your enemy by destruction, devastation, and you threaten its economic interests. This is when the real ceasefire happens. I've been your host, Kirk Almacen of Syriana Analysis. If you're new, please subscribe and hit the like button, and also support my independent work. You can see all the means in the description below. You can support my work financially in order to produce a better quality videos for you guys, and also more consistently. And see you next time.